And thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News. First at 4, I'm Mark Hanrahan. Whitney is off today. It has been 8 weeks since the murders of 4 University of Idaho students and more than a week since police named and arrested the man they say is responsible for the crimes. Tonight, we have team coverage as college students return to the Palouse for the first time since the arrest of the WSU PhD student for the murders of 4 university students. We kick things off, though, in Pullman, where KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has been speaking with Pullman police about campus safety. Amanda?
Yeah, Mark, you could say the new year started with some sense of relief after investigators arrested the man that they believe murdered 4 University of Idaho students. But the news that the suspect lived right here in Pullman worries some WSU students. Now, prior to Brian Koberger's arrest, law enforcement released no information about a potential suspect, which meant over the course of 6 weeks, WSU students had no idea the suspect walked among them. Today is the first day of spring semester classes, and students are now back on campus from the holiday break. Now, while some students remain on edge, WSU senior Megan House says she feels reassured knowing the suspect is now in custody and that fellow students seem to be looking out for one another.
I definitely do feel a lot safer. I mean, I do have pepper spray on me at all times just for that extra bit of protection, but it's definitely a lot better coming back knowing that he's caught and people are looking out for you all the time.
Now, before students returned to campus, the university reiterated the safety and security resources available to them, including Coug Safe Rides. It's offering a free safe ride to and from campus, along with a free walking service partnered with the WSU cadets in the evening hours on campus. Now, while in Pullman today, I also reached out to the Pullman Police Department as well as WSU Police Department to get comment on their knowledge of the suspect living in Pullman, being a student here on campus. Now, because the agencies fall under the umbrella of the Idaho judge's gag order, they can't really discuss this. But when I talked to WSU Police Chief Gary Jenkins today, he told me the department holds student safety very seriously and holds it into very high priority. So I'll be sharing more from him tonight at 5. Reporting at WSU in Pullman, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Meantime, across the border in Moscow, where the King Road home remains an active crime scene tonight, U of I students are preparing to return to class later this week. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is live in Idaho tonight with what the university is doing to make sure students feel safe. Shannon?
Well, Mark, as those students are returning here to the University of Idaho campus, they can expect to see that police and security presence. But we have learned today that that is actually going to be less than what it has in November and December. Provost Tori Lawrence tells me that the large numbers of Idaho State Police that have been here the last couple of months, that is going to decrease some. There will still be patrols from Moscow Police and the Latah County Sheriff's Office, as well as private campus security. As we know, many students started their break early after the murders of 4 students in an off-campus home on November 13th. And for some, this may be their first time back on UI's campus since then.
We are seeing most of our students return. Our enrollment actually looks to be higher than it was last spring right now. And we did offer to students if they wanted to be remote, if they were normally in the Moscow campus and did not want to return, that we would try to work with them on options for classes that could be done remotely. And we had a few students take us up on that, but not a huge amount.
Now, some other changes that students can expect are more safety and security programming. That's in the works right now, and that includes self-defense classes that I'm told students have been requesting. Live in Moscow, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Thank you very much. Meantime, the court hearing for the suspect has been moved up. A status conference hearing will now be held at 8 a.m. on Thursday. It was originally scheduled for 10 a.m. The status conference hearing is typically an opportunity for the judge to make sure both sides are on track, working cooperatively, and are prepared for trial. The suspect's preliminary hearing is not yet scheduled, but it must happen within the next week and a half. It's in that hearing where the suspect will enter a plea of either guilty or not guilty. And tonight, KREM 2 spoke with the suspected murderer's Pennsylvania public defender. He represented him from the moment he was arrested in Monroe County until he was passed off to Idaho jurisdiction. Chief Public Defender Jason Labar says he first met his client at the Monroe County Correctional Facility. He says he looked like an ordinary, average type guy. Labar says the first thing he said to the suspect was, "Don't tell me anything about the case. Don't tell me any facts. That's information for your Idaho attorney." Before Brian Koberger's extradition hearing last Tuesday, Labar and his client put together a public statement. Labar says there was one part of that statement he says his client made sure to put in.
And I need a statement prepared for Brian based upon what he says to me, but limited, of course, to the important parts, basically the presumption of innocent stuff. Using his words with the eager to be exonerated, those are his words, which I took as implicit that he was innocent, obviously, of the charges, that there wouldn't be enough evidence to prove him guilty of the charges or even to hold the charges for that matter. That's what I took that as when we talked about that eager to be exonerated.
Return back to Idaho was the need to know what was in those documents.
Labar says he is continuing to work with his client's family in Pennsylvania, but will no longer be working directly with his client anymore. Again, Koberger's second court appearance is set for Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And coming up on KREM 2 News at 4:30, we are taking some time to remember the victims of this horrific crime, how a grieving father is coping with all the weight of last week, and how communities across Washington are working to honor the victims. We will continue to bring you the latest on this murder investigation here on KREM 2. In the meantime, if you want more of our in-depth coverage so far, just text us the word Idaho to 509-448-2000 and we'll send a link directly to your phone. Tonight, Spokane City Council members are expected to approve a $70,000 settlement with the contractor who completed the Thor Freya project. Cameron Riley Concrete says people living at Camp Hope created an unsafe environment from day one. The contractor says tools and equipment were either stolen or damaged, workers had cars broken into, and some were even threatened with knives. The contractor reportedly spent $2,800 a week addressing the vandalism, which they say delayed the project. All right, let's talk weather right now. It's been a warmer start to January, but the rain is hanging around, and this afternoon we also saw a bit of snow here on the South Hill. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legou back after a quick break. Hey, Jeremy, do you think you remember how to do this forecasting thing?
Oh, man. Now that you're putting me on the spot, the answer is definitely not.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so take all this with a grain of salt. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's talk what's going on in the world of weather. Here in lower elevations, none of that snow is going to stick. You might see a few snowflakes mixing in, but for the most part, it's rain. As we're looking at downtown, 34 degrees means a lot of what's falling in low elevations remains rain. And if you look at those temperatures across the region, we're all above freezing. Not until you get into western Montana do you see those temperatures down near or below freezing. That means, for the most part, it is rain or snow mixing with rain that melts rather quickly for all of us. You got to go up pretty high in elevation to find some snow. I was just looking at some of the webcams around the region. Mount Spokane, a little bit of snow. Silver Mountain, a little bit of snow. So you can bet that most of those ski resorts are still seeing snow. But here you go. Still coming down. Even looks like Elk right on the edge of that rain snow, but all of that seems to be melting. In the 5 o'clock hour, we'll start to see it move out. By the 8 o'clock hour, it lingers in high elevations. Might get a little bit in the Lewis and Clark Valley down to the south, but for the most part, we start our drying trend, and by Tuesday afternoon, I have faith in a little bit of sunshine. Few reasons for that. One of those being our longer days and higher sun angle. Yeah, that's right. I know it's January, but we're already seeing marked improvements in the amount of daylight we have. So we'll talk the chances of snow, rain, and everything in between the next few days.
Oh man, more